And welcome to Morning Asia. I'm Tanya Francis. Coming up on the show today, the latest news this hour as Iran says it's launching retaliatory actions after a fresh wave of US strikes. That's also the top story being covered in many of the papers in the e-papers this morning, as well as crippling monsoons in Bangladesh as continuous record rainfall causes deadly floods and landslides. And in China, an archaeological hotspot is added to the UNESCO World Heritage lists. And quite aptly, if the headlines are leaving you feeling drained, you're not alone. Author and coach Javeria Asad is going to talk about news fatigue and share practical tips for finding a healthy balance. Right, let's now take a look at the headlines from major newspapers around the world. What's making the front pages? I don't think Harry and the Goats has made it to the front page. We're going to start with The Guardian in the UK. Trump rejects Iran's Strait of Hormuz closure claim as fight for control goes on. The British paper is focused on the collapsing ceasefire between the US and Iran after a week of missile and drone exchanges. Donald Trump stated that US forces are keeping the vital waterway open despite Iranian declarations that it has closed. Next is Pakistan's Daily Times, which reports on the same news story from a more Iranian perspective. Ghalibaf warns US to honor Hormuz deal or face consequences. So the article highlights Iran pressing the United States to fully implement their recent agreement as tensions over the Strait of Hormuz escalate. Iranian officials warned that they will not accept one-sided deals and are ready to respond to future threats. India's Hindustan Times also reporting on the same story. Hormuz crisis returns as Iran-US escalate strikes. So the story covers the latest waves of attacks where the US has hit over 140 targets in Iran following an Iranian strike on a commercial vessel. Iran then retaliated by targeting US military interests across several Gulf nations, putting the recent peace negotiations in serious danger. The Australian covering the story has quite a clever headline, straight back to the beginning. So they too have focused on the return to the Iran war and the erosion of the peace deal. Their report explains how the Middle East is heading back into open conflict as Washington and Tehran trade heavy fire. The US completed another round of strikes holding Iran accountable, while Iran insists revenge is a national demand. The Financial Times also delves into the same story. Their top headline reads, "New US strikes on Iran pose biggest test for interim deal." The article details the fourth round of American strikes in a week after Iranian forces attacked a commercial ship and tried to close the waterway. The paper also features a major story as a co-headline that you can see on the passing of US Senator Lindsey Graham, who's died at the age of 71 after a brief illness. And that leads us on quite nicely to the next story. The front page of the Washington Post goes with the headline, "Lindsey Graham died of aortic dissection, preliminary medical report says." So the report in the paper states that the prominent senator has passed away shortly after returning from a trip to Ukraine. Donald Trump mentioned he had spoken with Graham prior to his passing. Now, China Daily features the headline, "Ruins highlight effort to trace and preserve roots." So the article celebrates the 20th anniversary of the Yingzhou archaeological site in Henan being added to the UNESCO World Heritage list. It highlights China's dedication to protecting its cultural relics and ancient history. And lastly, the Dhaka Tribune. Dhaka sinks again as monsoon intensifies. So the paper is describing how continuous record rainfall has crippled the capital and caused deadly floods and landslides across Bangladesh. Millions of people have been affected, with authorities warning that the extreme weather is shifting to new regions. Okay, now time to take a look at the weather conditions around the world. Well, starting in Islamabad, we can expect very warm conditions, hazy sunshine and a high reaching 37 degrees. Skies are going to turn clear later on, bringing temperatures down by 10 degrees down to 27. Now, over in Beijing, you can look for some sunny breaks alongside hot and very humid weather, pushing temperatures up to 34 degrees. Partly cloudy and humid conditions are going to persist later as the lows settle in at 23. Now, down in Riyadh, very warm weather and hazy sunshine dominate, pushing highs up to 40 to 41 degrees. Hazy skies are going to continue later, and that unhealthy air is going to linger as temperatures drop down to 30. Now, heading over to Istanbul in Turkey, expect long periods of bright sunshine. It'll then become breezy during the later parts of the days. Highs of 30 degrees. Clear and humid conditions will then take over after settling in at a low of 19. Over in the British capital in London, look for warm conditions with periods of sunshine and highs reaching 28 degrees, so pretty hot for London at this time of year. Patchy clouds will arrive later, dropping temperatures down quite drastically down to 17. Turning to Washington, expect less humid weather featuring long sunny spells, a high of 31 degrees. It's then going to turn partly cloudy later on in the day and drop down to 19. In New Delhi, you can expect hazy sunshine, very warm conditions with a high of 38, 39 degrees. Hazy skies are going to stick around for the most of the day, along with that unhealthy air. So watch out, be cautious of that, settling in at a low of 30. Now, up in Moscow, look for cloudy skies, a little rain at times during the later hours, keeping highs at 24 degrees. Partly to mostly cloudy conditions will follow throughout the day, and a low dropping down to 16. And finally, let's go to France in Paris. Expect very hot conditions, bright periods. Highs will be reaching 35, 36 degrees. It's hot in Paris today. Skies will then turn a little cloudy later, giving a bit of relief and keeping things warm but not too warm as they settle in for 22 degrees overnight. And that's your international weather update this hour. Hello there and welcome back. It's been a busy weekend, hasn't it, with 3 World Cup matches. Let's get you the roundup. So Spain versus Belgium, look at that. Spain's late winning goal broke Belgium hearts to seal a World Cup semi-final spot with a 2-1 win. Spain will now meet France for the first semi-final on Wednesday, with France's defender Ibrahima Konate saying that they're up against a very strong team indeed. So he's saying it's not only Lamine Yamal that they need to worry about, but the whole team, the whole Spain team. Now, next up, England versus Norway. There was a lot of chit-chat about this match, with Norwegian player Erling Haaland emerging as a true force to be reckoned with. There were questions around whether England were going to be able to beat them and what would happen. But England came out victorious with a 2-1 win. We go, the Brits reckon it's coming home. They reckon that they're going to be lifting the trophy. Well, their manager, England manager Thomas Tuchel, says that his team were lucky to squeeze past Norway after extra time to reach the World Cup semi-finals. And despite losing, Norway's Erling Haaland has said that he is proud for putting his country on the map. And the last big match to recap on is Argentina beat Switzerland 3-1 to reach the World Cup semi-finals. Some very, very happy fans were out celebrating in Buenos Aires.
We are there. Let's go. Get fired up, man. Come on. This is Argentina, man. You've got to get fired up. Let's go. Look at the people. Look how they are. What a people we have. Argentina. Let's go. Let's go. Everything's a mess in Argentina. But at least these guys bring us this happiness. It's 3 in the morning and we're all here. Come on, Argentina. Come on, Messi. The whole national team.
There we are, some happy Argentines. Right, let's step away from the footy for a moment and look at today's Spotlight interview. Now, as we know, a lot of the news in the world at the moment is heavy and quite negative, and with the availability of so much of it through our phones, TV, conversations with friends, newspapers, it can become quite overwhelming. So to help us understand more about how we can stay informed without feeling too heavy all of the time, we've got author and optimism coach Javeria Asad with us. Lovely to have you. I think this is a really important topic to talk about because all of us, I think, are turning on our TVs and opening up our phones and just getting this stream of what can often feel really negative, but it's also important to stay informed. So how do people navigate this and not let it kind of bring them down?
Okay, thank you so much, Tanya, for having me on this show. Yes, you're absolutely correct. There's so much cacophony of news. You know, we are swamped these days. So, but there's a difference between being informed and being consumed. Okay, so it is very important to be updated about what is going on currently. But all the time you're scrolling and you're consuming the news, the breaking news, the so-called breaking news. It's actually not good for the health, also the mental well-being if you're talking about, and socially, of course, it will make you exhaust and make you emotionally, definitely, if you're working at work or you're at home, it will make you depressed. So I would say that you should be informed, updated, but you should have very clear picture, exactly you have authentic source of information.
Yes, the truth is so important.
This is very important.
Yeah.
First you have to have very authentic source of information, that what kind of channels or what kind of social media platforms you're following. This is first criteria to be informed authentically. And after that, how much information you're absorbing at that time, that is very important. And relevant information. For example, you should not jeopardize yourself in so much happening. Focus which news or which happening actually affect you, your family, your workplace, and people around you. Because it's not about only the personal growth or personal thing, it's always about the community also.
Of course, yeah.
So in this scenario, you have to see that how can I help myself to be, well-being. I'm talking about my optimism and my positivity. Also help other people also, how they are struggling. How can I help within my domain? How can I help them?
Yeah, share in the sort of difficulty.
So sharing and caring, of course, we heard it from childhood. So in these work circumstances or crisis, it's very important to share your techniques, something to give relief to other people around you at workplaces or something.
Yeah, it's very practical advice, isn't it? Basically, don't, if you're going to unconsciously scroll, you need to consciously follow.
Exactly.
So you've not got sort of 3,000 accounts that you're following and you're getting a mix of all of this information. What are some of the techniques that people can use if they do feel overwhelmed, if they do feel like, I'm doom scrolling, I'm taking on all of this news about the war and about, death and about horrible things happening, and it's too much. What are some of the techniques that people can do to sort of get them out of a bit of a rut?
See, sometimes when we are so much overwhelmed with this kind of news, first of all, restrict yourself, okay? And you are, for example, some people are react very impulsively when they hear any news. And without knowing that it's authenticity, they believe it and they started living it. So it's very important, first of all, as I mentioned earlier, authentic source. And secondly, don't be scared and that fearful feeling they have, like maybe it will happen to us. That of course, because now after this situation, anything can happen anytime with any person. So it's very important because fear, it's always make you scared sometimes. So there always you have to have hope and optimistic. In optimistic, we always believe that we never say that being optimistic in a way that we are ignoring the reality. So in my opinion, always you have to face the reality. Yes, this is happening. This is reality. But then you have hope, then it will go. And then you have to take a meaningful action. So basically, I always define and always give these tips through the optimistic. And this is my brand, actually. I'm dealing with optimistry, actually. These days, I'm saying everyone optimistry.
What is optimistry?
Optimistry, actually, I'm creating this brand from the optimistic, derived from the optimism.
Okay.
And which is, I derive the formula, there's that reality and hope and then action.
Okay.
First, you have acceptance that, okay, this is happening. You know, there is one Pollyanna approach we always say. It was a novel. The girl was Pollyanna, and she always said that no, everything is fine, everything is perfect. So Pollyanna approach is good at certain point when you are achieving something, but you know, it is taking you cannot have like ostrich approach that everything will be good. No, everything will be good, but you have to do something.
Yeah, action.
Right? With the hopeful mindset and some meaningful and profound action.
Exactly,
so this is basically my optimistry. These days I'm actually working on this. So this is very important to accept the reality, and being positive and hopeful mindset, you have to take some actions which can, you know, reframe your mind when you are feeling fearful and anxious.
Do you know what though? It can be really hard if you're feeling fearful or you're feeling a bit down to just tell your mind to be positive. That's the biggest battle, is to flip that switch and be like, everything will be okay. What are the small steps that people can do to get to that point where they can begin to change the narrative?
Okay, so it's basically, first thing is pause. First, okay, relax. If you have heard any news, if you have something bad happen to yourself, pause, relax. Try to understand what exactly happened, all the if and buts of the situation. So pause, a little pause is very important. And it's not a pause for a 5 second or 10 second. It could be 1 hour, 2 hour, one day, to absorb the, you know, because every person's reaction time is different to any situation. Then reframe your mind. Now, how can I heal myself, overcome this situation? What could be the possibilities to reframe this situation, to turn the table in my favor? Or how can I overcome this situation? So this is after pause, then reframe. And if there are different situations, because currently, of course, being a like normal person, it's a government situation, so I cannot do anything. But what can I do? If someone is so much fearful or someone is so frightened, I can help them. Or if this is happening to me, then I have to reframe my mind. I have to indulge myself in different positive activities. For example, reframing means just do something else. Whenever you're feeling this fearful activity, just divert yourself, talk to your friend, watch any good movie, positive movie. If you're a religious person, then go and pray, okay? Read any good book, listen to any good music. So reframe your mind, or go out for shopping or something. So just you have to take out yourself from that situation mentally, and then progress, right? After that, I'm not saying that you don't have to solve that problem. When you have reframed that, now you're open, now you have breathed, now you have some, you know, relaxed mind. Now you have to see that how can I overcome this problem. So basically, reframing is very important when you are having this anxious and fearful feeling.
Yeah, it is. And I was looking through some of your work, and it kind of matches to what you're saying. It says life doesn't become better by pretending. It becomes better when we learn to think clearly, act courageously, and grow intentionally. Because I think often there's this idea in the wellness sphere, mental health is obviously talked about a lot more than it was done ever in the past, but that you have to be okay, you know, that you have to kind of pretend that you're okay even if you're not, because perhaps there's a bit of shame about, you know, you struggling or not quite getting things right. And I guess that's where the pretending comes in, is that, like, you know, if we're pretending that we're okay, maybe we're not dealing with the issue.
Actually, I don't, as an optimism coach, I don't like to be pretentious. Because, you know, this is a trend. People that if I would be a very positive person, happy, go nature, people will like me more. And in that scenario, what you do, you are just, you know, just letting everything absorb.
How authentic is that, if that's not what you're actually feeling?
About to
like
feel,
if you're not feeling happy, but you just saying that you're happy,
it's
that
very harmful for you. It's just like, you know, a volcano.
Yeah.
After some time, you will explode.
Yeah.
And when at that time you will explode, people see that this is your reality, because it's common scenario that whenever you want to see any person, when how he's behaving in an anger situation.
Yeah.
Right. So all the time when you're pretending that no, everything is positive, I will not get angry. It's basically you're just captivating feelings adding feelings, you're suppressing your feelings.
Yeah.
And after some time, when you explode, it will not harm yourself, but also you will harm other people also. Don't be pretentious.
Yeah.
Don't be pretentious. And somehow, of course, there are some courtesy things, ethics, for example. But at some time, you have to be vocal. You have to, you should know how to express your feelings within limited, within limited your circumstances, not to hurt anyone. But it's not always to be showing that I'm very positive. And because I always say that removing negativity from your life, actually the first step. Because once you will remove negativity from your life, automatically positivity will come in, right? But what we do, if for example, I'm a person, I see I concur in confront any situation, and I see the negative side. The people say, why you always see the negative sides? Because I am the person who see the bad side first, the dark side first, because eventually when I will sort it out, bright side will automatically come in. So don't be so much pretentious. It depends. It's conditional when you have to be pretend, but not always. I always say don't be so much pretentious, because it will suppress your feeling, it will harm you, your mental well-being, because after some time when you explode, as I said earlier, it will definitely, you will be double fiasco, I would say.
Yeah,
it will be a horrible situation for you, yes.
I guess find someone that you trust, whether that be a friend or a family member.
Sharing is very important.
Or a professional or a coach if you need it, and find your way out of it. Well, thank you so much. I think there's some really valuable tips there.
I hope so.
for whether it be news fatigue or getting yourself out of a rut. They're all important things for us to think about every day.
Thank you so much,
Tanya. Thank you.
Thank you.
There we go. Lots of things to think about this morning. Javeria, Asad with us here on Morning Asia. Okay, well, thank you for watching Morning Asia. The team and I, we will be back tomorrow, 10 a.m. Pakistan time. So please join me, grab yourself a cup of tea or a chai, and we'll have lots more news and lots more fun for you tomorrow.